as real as it gets.
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Gaspari Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In your face.
Give it to me, baby.
Welcome to another segment of the UCW radio show. This is your host, Lou Velazquez, and I want to thank all of our listeners for your continued support and just tuning into the show. In just a little while, we're going to have a true bodybuilding legend, an IFBB Hall of Famer. He is, no doubt about it, he is the true definition of the American dream, striving for the best, not only in bodybuilding and in his bodybuilding career, but in his life. And it trickled down to his nutritional supplement company, his business, Rich Gaspari. You know, what can I say about the guy? He's breaking barriers around the world with his nutritional supplement business, Gaspari Nutrition, probably the top supplement company on the planet at this point, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to speaking with him shortly, because I know it's going to be an interesting conversation. But before we bring Rich Gaspari on the show, we need to talk about a couple of things. As I've been speaking about on the show for several weeks now, we have the honor of actually hosting the Ultimate Body radio show. We're excited about it. That's directly connected to the Ultimate Body reality show. Now, this is the first of its kind reality shows. It's a bodybuilding reality show. It's bringing bodybuilding to the mainstream. This comes from the great mind of David Lyons. He's another inspirational guy. This guy has been through some stuff, and he actually keeps rising to the occasion in his life and in the entertainment field. He is the producer of Hog Heaven, the biker show, and also the animated feature Creepers. And he put this together. Basically, you have 13 men, 13 women in a mansion. They're getting free food, vitamins, training, doctors. They're competing for $50,000. The Spread and Muscle Mag. And you have some guest judges. One that's going to be on the show, that's the great Rich Gaspari. But you also have Marcia Prince, which is the spokesmodel for Gaspari Nutrition. Natural Mr. Universe Doug Burns. The host is Bob Cicciarello. And this Saturday, that's it, final audition in Kissimmee, Florida. This is the last chance for any of you that are looking to get involved in bodybuilding to actually get involved and make it happen. Keep in mind, if you're an amateur bodybuilder, you're not making any money. You're actually, it's a losing proposition because you're spending money on supplements and so on and so forth, unless you're getting sponsored to do it. And 9 times out of 10, not every bodybuilder out there, amateur bodybuilder, gets sponsored. Only the real, I guess, the ones that have that the sponsors feel have the real potential of going pro in the short term. So this is an opportunity to first get on a great reality show and make a name for yourself if you're looking to be a reality show star. Get into the best shape of your life and compete for $50,000 and make a name for yourself in the bodybuilding world. So it's pretty interesting. And the website for the show is theultimatebodytvshow.com. That is theultimatebodytvshow.com. And the auditions are from 11 to 6. And you can go to the website, get the information. I do advise, even though right now you're running out of time, but I do advise, get the application. Try to send it in via email, whatever you need to do to get it to them beforehand, because more than likely you're going to have a packed house, especially with this show. And my view of it, the Ultimate Body reality show is going to be your next biggest loser, but a little with a twist, because now instead of everyone losing so much weight and having the XX skin, and I mean the Biggest Loser is a great show and it does serve its purpose, but now you're going to have the other end, which is taking people to the next level. So I think it's going to be a fantastic run. And actually, you know something, this is what I want to do, even though I want to get Rich Gaspari on the show fairly quickly. I want to play the promo for the Ultimate Body reality show so you can get a better idea as far as what it's all about. So here is the promo.
In the challenge of their lives, 26 ordinary people train the old-fashioned way through blood, sweat, and tears as they compete for the title of the Ultimate Body. In this compelling dog-eat-dog reality drama, the contestants are paired together as training partners by host, champion bodybuilder Mr. USA Bob Ciccarello. 4 personal trainers help each pair survive the grueling and extreme training routines combined with rigid contest dieting. And if that's not enough, they must also face extreme challenges by the trainer from hell. While living together for 10 weeks in a city where dreams come true, unexpected temptations and shocking alliances toughen up the competition for the contestants who must eliminate a pair of training partners each week. When the dust settles, the training partners split and everyone stands alone. 6 men battle on stage for the ultimate male body. 6 women face off for the ultimate female body. As 3 celebrity judges, Hall of Fame bodybuilder Rich Gaspari, Bikini Pro Marcia Prince, and Natural Mr. Universe Doug Burns decide who ultimately will win their title and walk away with a feature in a major magazine, a fitness endorsement deal, and $50,000 in cash from sponsors Gaspari Nutrition and Anytime Fitness. Who has what it takes to become the ultimate body?
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Gaspari Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
And as I said, the Ultimate Body reality show, the website is theultimatebodytvshow.com. Now on to another topic, celebrity boxing. Again, another show that we're involved with. A good friend of ours, Christopher Gambino and Stephen Baldwin, they got together and they're doing the celebrity boxing on Wednesday, February 3rd, 2010 at the over 18,000 seat Bank Atlantic Center in Sunrise, Florida. Now, Stephen Baldwin is a great actor. He's part of the Baldwin family. He went to go see our U.S. troops overseas, and something sparked in him, which made him go and create a fund. It's called the Now More Than Ever Fund, and this celebrity boxing event is to support our troops. So basically, this is what it's all about. The main event, you have Christopher Gambino versus Stephen Baldwin, and Roy Jones Jr. just signed up to be a part of it. The whole roster is being put together, and I'm sure that in the next couple of weeks we're going to have a whole roster out there that we can actually speak about. And the website for this is mycelebrityboxing.com. That's mycelebrityboxing.com. Check it out. If you are in the area, if you're going to go to the Super Bowl, you know what? You want to go to this event. It's a star-studded celebrity boxing event. You're going to have so many great people there, and it's just getting more and more interesting. Again, stuff I can't speak about because it's not public knowledge yet. And moving forward, and actually that website again, just for me to make it clear, is mycelebrityboxing.com. Now, moving forward, listeners, we want you to be a part of the UCW radio show. Get involved. Call us with your questions, your comments, whatever you want to do. We want to hear from you. So get a pen, write down this number. It's 323-952-4369. That's 323-952-4369. And again, send your questions, comments, call in, and if it's interesting enough, hey, you know what? It'll be played on the show for all to hear, and we will pose those questions to our guest. And if you're on Twitter, then you can shoot me out some questions or comments. Feel free to do so. And my Twitter name is Luis Velazquez. That's LOUISVELAZQUEZ. Follow me and tweet away. And also, I need to mention this before we bring Rich Gaspari on the show, that the UCW radio show, we opened up the doors for sponsorship opportunities. So marketers, advertisers that want to have tie-ins or any type of association with the UCW radio show, you can give us a call as well at 323-952-4369. That's 323-952-4369. Or you can go to our website at ucwmagazine.com and find out how you can get involved with what we're doing. Now, without further ado, Les Patchen, IFBB Hall of Famer, a true bodybuilding legend, a documented business success, and a grade A father. He's a grade A daddy, no doubt about it. Here is none other than the great Rich Gaspari. Rich, welcome to the UCW radio show. It's great to have you on.
It's great to be here.
Excellent. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. You have a lot of things going on, and I know that. Rich, you've accomplished so much in the world of bodybuilding, you know, from winning the Miss America title, Mr. Universe. You won the first Arnold Classic, and you came in second, which still blows my mind that you came in second 3 times for the Mr. Olympia title. And I just
go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say. Yeah, I just want to say that that was just one chapter of your life, and you have other things going on, which we're going to get into as the show progresses. But what I like to do, and we're going to talk about the Olympia in a second, but what I like to do is start at the beginning, so that our listeners can really embrace your journey, because I think it's an amazing journey. When did you, not so much when you got involved in weightlifting, but when did you get involved in not professional, but just competitive bodybuilding?
Well, I've been training with weights since I was 13 years old. I was one of the typical, we called 90-pound weakling when I started. I was a really scrawny kid, where I was always amazed at looking at the pictures of bodybuilders, from a friend of mine whose father collected the old Muscle Builder magazines, and I was like amazed at looking at these guys. They look like superheroes. I started training when I was 13 years old. I started winning shows when I was 19 years old, winning men's shows, winning like Jersey regional titles, and then competing in the nationals when I was 19 years old, and then 20 years old, winning the nationals, and then winning Mr. Universe. I was one of the youngest Mr. Universes at the time. It was actually, I beat out Lou Ferrigno's record as being one of the youngest Mr. Universes.
Wow, that's amazing. And then you went to compete.
And then, from there, then turning, then I turned professional, and competed in the Mr. Olympia competed in the Night of the Champions, which was a big pro show at 21, and then going into the Olympia at 22, coming in 3rd place, and then from there, placing second in the Olympia 3 years in a row, and from the eight times that I was in Mr. Olympia, never, placing any lower than the top 5 in Mr. Olympia. As you said, I won the Arnold Classic, competing in the Grand Prix shows as well after the Mr. Olympia, and winning Grand Prix shows. I was for 2 years in a row, won the Grand Prix shows, which was like 7 shows that you would have to compete in. So for me, bodybuilding was something I loved, and I went into bodybuilding always with the attitude as being a winner.
Well, and you did come out a winner a number of times, and actually, you've done so much, not so much in your own bodybuilding career, but for the sport in general. And I know. Go ahead.
Well, I always believe in, one of the things I'm a big advocate of is I believe in positive attitude. When I competed in bodybuilding, they always told me that, I was a skinny kid, that I wouldn't go anywhere in bodybuilding. I always thought to myself, what, if that guy can do it, he's flesh and blood, why not me? I would push myself. That was one of the, I was known for being one of the hardest training bodybuilders. And, I was always known as having genetic limitations, and I wouldn't let that, overtake me. I would always go into a show, if my shoulders were narrow, I'd build them up by putting more muscle, making myself look wider. The guy that I lost against, it was Lee Haney, who actually set the record in the most wins in the Mr. Olympia. Him and Ronnie Coleman have the most wins. So coming in second to him was, to me, was still a great accomplishment with a guy who had great genetics. As I said, I always believed in that, pushing yourself to physical limitations. You can push yourself in anything in life, and that's what I strive for. Bodybuilding is one of the things that got me where I am today, and now owning a supplement company, again, it's all from bodybuilding. It's something where if you can go to the gym and push yourself to these physical limitations, you can do anything in life.
No, without a doubt. And I'm going to crank back a little bit, because one thing that I do know, and some may say, well, back then, I'm going to say even today, bodybuilders, when you go to the gym, your level, and I remember, because when I was involved in bodybuilding when I was younger, I'd look at you and be like, wow, but I know that the intensity factor, the high intensity factor in your training, kind of scared some of the bodybuilders that you used to train with. And I'm sure even today that most pros couldn't handle what you can dish out. How did you develop that intensity?
I'm not sure where it came from. I mean, I come from an immigrant family. Came from Italy. My father was a mason. He was a really hardworking guy, and I had that work ethic instilled in me that if you don't work hard, you're not going to get anything in life. And I still believe that. You get for what you want by working hard. And in the gym, I was I was known as one of the hardest training bodybuilders because I just didn't believe in or let I would push my body beyond what it could be pushed. As long as I didn't hurt myself. But I had endurance, muscle endurance. I mean, I did crazy stuff. Squatting. If I read something about back then Tom Platz for doing 50 reps with 315-pound squats, I would do 50 reps with 315-pound squats. I would just push myself to the physical limitations. And then I had my training partners that trained with me, and then a lot of guys just couldn't keep up with me. When I was training for the Mr. Olympia, I always had 3 training partners because most of them would burn out training with me. Even today, I'm long retired. I still train 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week, and I train with pros, and I actually still can beat up pros in the gym, just training with them. It's just I have this I go into the gym, I'm focused to train, I push myself, and a guy may be able to right now lift heavier than me, but I can push myself to do, say, my supersets or drop sets or whatever I have to do in the gym to push myself beyond what normal people would push themselves to do.
Well, I mean, this is why I don't venture to Jersey, by the way. So you scare me, brother.
Anytime you want a challenge. I mean, one thing we do is we have the Train with Rich Gaspari contest, which we have on our website, and we've been doing it where my company's in over 60 countries, and we have a contest, and we fly people in from all over the world to come to Las Vegas to train with me. And recently I was at the Mr. Olympia. I trained with Mr. Pole, and now I've been retired since 1996, and this guy's the current Mr. Poland winner. And I did shoulders with him, and I beat him up in the gym, trained with him so hard. I trained with another guy from was a bodybuilder from Australia, pushed him to the limit. So I'm able to push myself because I just mentally I say I can do it, and I'll just push myself beyond any limitation that we can do. Like I said, and I've still been able to do that. Even today, knock on wood, as long as I don't have injuries, I'm very careful in my training, not to do anything where I'm going to hurt myself, but I do have that muscle endurance that a lot of people don't have.
But that's something that you developed over time, and as you get older, it doesn't matter, you still have that. It becomes a mind over matter situation, I think.
Well, I think so. It's I'll go into a gym and push myself with the attitude that I'm going to do this. And it's funny, I'll train with somebody and I start to get to this point where I start seeing him weaken, and then it'll go full force to make sure that I can try to get this guy to give up, with training. It's just something. I was always known as one of the hardest training bodybuilders, as a pro bodybuilder, and I continue striving to push myself. And even in my mid-40s, I can push myself hard, and it's something that I enjoy to do.
Well, I remember way back when I was reading a magazine, and you were talking about, I guess when you first started, and I guess you mentioned something that you started lifting weights, and you wanted to develop the T-shirt muscles. I remember that because you went from there to actually, developing a whole body, because once you take your shirt off, it's like, okay, you have to do everything else, you know. But I thought that was interesting. But I want to ask you something, because I think this is important. I know that you've competed on all levels, But I need to ask you, how did it feel to win that very first show? Because I don't care what you do, competitively in bodybuilding or powerlifting or whatever it may be, that first moment, that first time that you win a title, you never forget that. So how did that feel for you?
Well, which title are you talking about? When I won the Nationals, or I won Mr. Universe, or
no, your very first title, your first title ever.
Well, my first title was a teenage competition. It was actually a New Jersey show, regional show called the Physique, Jersey Physique. And, of course, it was just a great feeling in winning a show. And it was the first time, when going into this show, I actually took me 3 tries to win the show. I started competing when I was 15 years old. So 16, 17, I competed in this show 3 years in a row, and then finally going from 6th to 3rd to winning the title. And I didn't want to do any other contest until I won it. When I won it, it was a great euphoric feeling. And as soon as I got done, it's like some people are happy with their laurels and winning a show. It's like, okay, what's next? What other kind of show can I win to show myself that I can be even better? And I started looking at different shows, that were a little bit harder to compete in to win. So the first show was a great feeling, but I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to continue winning more shows.
But the thing is, and I have to say this, and I'm glad that you just explained that situation that you came in 5th, 4th, 6th, and you built up. You didn't give up. Most people would go and they come in 6th place and get depressed and so on and so forth. You said, okay, well, I'm gonna come after it next time and until I get it.
Well, you analyze, see, in bodybuilding or anything in life, if you don't succeed in something, you look at it and you regroup and you figure out what you need to do to get yourself better. In bodybuilding, it's of course improving your physique, whether you need to get bigger arms or better legs or better symmetry, or you need it to be leaner or more ripped, and you have to be very critical. And I what's funny today is with different back in my day, and I don't hate to say that I'm not old, but
you're making me feel old.
Yeah, I didn't have a trainer or a guru telling me what to do. I would basically analyze myself by looking at pictures, and looking at the pictures, I'd look at it and be self-critical to say, okay, what do I need to improve myself? Whether I need to get bigger and put more muscle on, or whether I need to, fix my symmetry. I mean, I've done a lot of things in really looking at what I need to do, get back in the gym, train those body parts to improve, say, your symmetry or to increase lean muscle mass. Actually going into a show, taking photos, looking at yourself and saying, oh, I need to be leaner before I go into the show. So you have to be very self-critical. Some people don't have that ability. They have great genetics, but they need someone telling them what to do. And I had the ability to do it on my own.
Well, I think that's important because, as you're right, back then, the concept of having a personal trainer to train you to compete in bodybuilding wasn't there. Everyone was doing their own thing. You had training partners, but you weren't being. You didn't have someone saying, "Well, do this and get your arms this way," and all this technical stuff and all this scientific stuff and all the stuff you have today. Because bodybuilders today are, what are they, 280, 300? I mean, what's the next step? 400-pound bodybuilders? Back then. Well, it was just a different story.
They are much bigger, but I see that the science is basically the same when it comes to training and diet.
Right.
But as I said earlier, just people, current bodybuilders, a lot of them don't have the ability to kind of self-analyze themselves and be critical to say, hey, I need to do this or I need to do that. They have to have a guy telling them what to do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I mean, I just didn't have that luxury. I did it or I wasn't going to win a show, and I think I became good at doing that, and really every time going into a show, regrouping, figuring out what I needed to do to make myself better, in the show.
Well, I mean, you depended on yourself for your success. That's what it comes down to. You didn't depend on someone else. You did it yourself. Now, I
did have my, like say the owner of the gym would look at me and give me an idea like how I looked, and I'd have, like you said, your training partner, but a lot of it depended on myself and what to do, whether I had to, change my diet around or whether I had to train a body part a little harder or a little more. And a lot of it is like looking at the old muscle magazines, reading books on Arnold, and Arnold was very self-critical critical, and he would analyze himself, saying, okay, I need to build more shoulders, or I need to put on more mass on my legs. And I would read his, philosophies, and that's what I would do.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what it did for you. You've accomplished, as I said earlier, you've accomplished a lot of things, which we're going to touch on in a second. But I do have a question for you, and maybe it's an unfair question, but I have to ask it. Do you think that politics played a role in you not uncrowning the then Mr. Olympia? And that was Lee Haney at the time. Because I know that a lot of top bodybuilders that I've spoken to from that time frame, that some had the title already, have a lot of opinions on that. So I just want to know what your opinion was.
I've been on both sides of it. I've been a competitive bodybuilder. I've also been an IFBB judge and judged the Mr. Olympia, the Arnold Classic, and every major professional show. If you're going to say politics, there's no judge or nobody telling me as a judge, hey, I need you to vote for this guy. This is the guy who should win. But I think what does happen is that there's a current Mr. Olympia, let's say Lee Haney. Mm-hmm. He's the one that everyone's looking at as the best bodybuilder in the world. And when you look at him that way and a judge looks at him, you really got to, knock him out. They always say you got to knock him out. Either he has to be off, and you have to be so much on that you can actually take down that champion. Mm-hmm. And, did Lee Haney deserve to win? I would say yes. Maybe there was a year, 88, that, I was told that, I could have beaten him. But he did come in great, and did I knock him out? Maybe I didn't knock him out. That was the thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say, that there is any time that a judge is told, hey, politically to do this. But I think what happens, there is influence where the judge kind of looks at a competitor who is on top. So he's already favored to win, mm-hmm. unless he totally screws up. So that's what kind of happens,
okay,
in bodybuilding, and if you want to call it politics. But I wouldn't call it politics. I would just basically say that, that guy who's competing in that show, whether it's Lee Haney or myself when I was on top, you're that favorite. Mm-hmm. And you really have to be off, and the guy who's going to beat you has to be totally on and has to knock you out.
So and that's the bottom line. So it's, when they're looking at the top guy, which at that time, or even now, it was Jay Cutler now. So they look at him. So if you're coming up, you may be as good, but you have to be better because because you have to kind of outshine the current Mr. Olympia if you want to win.
Well, there's an example. There's a great example. Last year, Jay Cutler was off. Mm-hmm. He came in off. Dexter Jackson has been one of the more consistent competitors, went into the Olympia, and he beat him fair and square. Mm-hmm. Jay Cutler came back better than he's ever looked in the history of his, competition, mm-hmm. really proved that he is a true champion to be crowned the Mr. Olympia. And he took that show, and luckily, the other competitors, great competitors, guys like Kai Green, Phil Heath, were off. Mm-hmm. These were the favorites to win. Kai Green winning the Arnold Classic. If that guy would have came in the way he looked at the Arnold, could have won the show. Phil Heath, the same thing, coming in third place in the Mr. Olympia. If he would have came in on, he could have won, but he was off. Dexter was slightly off. Jay came in perfect that day, and then last he was crowned the Mr. Olympia.
Well, I'm glad that you kind of dismissed that. I guess that myth that politics plays a role in bodybuilding, especially the Miss Olympia. Because when it comes down to it, you can't be equal. You have to be better than the current Miss Olympia, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
period.
You just have to be that much better, or especially like what Jay has done in history. He's actually come back, and he's the first Mr. Olympia to lose and actually come back and win again. And he came in better than he ever did to do that. He really had to prove himself. Like I said, I've been on both sides of the table, being, in bodybuilding as a professional bodybuilder for 20 years, being a judge, an IFBB judge, and now currently, sponsoring athletes and doing what I do, with Gaspari Nutrition.
Well, I think that you, as I said, with your competitive days, you earned everything you got. You worked hard for it, and that's why you're a legend in bodybuilding. And I'm saying it because it is true. Because you will be remembered now and in the next 50 years when people look back at bodybuilding, they'll look at an Arnold, a Sergio, and all the Olympias, and you're always in the mix. There's no doubt about it.
I've strived to be even better.
Yeah.
Because like I said, currently I just won Lifetime Achievement Award, the Ben Weider Lifetime Achievement Award for what I've done, not only as a bodybuilder, but what I've done after bodybuilding. And it, I feel that I've been blessed to have this competitive nature and positive attitude and work ethic that I believe that, bodybuilding has been a great thing in my life that has given me the drive, determination, and the attitude of being a winner to do anything that you want in life. And that's why I always attribute that to bodybuilding. And if people recognize that of me, all the better.
Well, I think that, what a lot of people have a misconception of bodybuilding and bodybuilders, because not, you got to have some sort of smarts to make it, not only in bodybuilding, but in business. And that's something that you've done. Even though you've graced practically every cover of every major bodybuilding magazine in the world, for even today, even after you stopped competing, they still talk about you. And congratulations on getting that Lifetime Achievement Award, by the way. But as that chapter closed in your competitive life, another chapter opened. And that's in the nutritional supplement realm. You have Gaspari Nutrition. I'm just curious as to when did you start developing that? Was it after you stopped competing, or was it during?
I stopped competing, as I told you, 1996. Was actually my last show that I competed in. 1997, I was getting ready for the Night of the Champions. What happened was I herniated a disc in my neck, basically put me where I had to retire because I had pain down my arm, my right arm, couldn't train for like 6 months, was laid up in bed in excruciating pain from the herniated discs in my neck, rehabilitating myself. I owned a gym. I said, you know what? I'm going to get into the supplement business. I knew nothing. I knew a lot about it I didn't know the business end of it in manufacturing, but I knew a lot about supplements because I was a firm believer in supplements. I believe that you can't get off nutrients from foods alone. You have to take supplements. And when I competed, the supplements were very rudimentary and very crude. There wasn't much out there. There was desiccated liver, some amino acids, some multivitamins, and some really bad-tasting protein powders.
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
Yeah, so when I got into it, I wanted to make the best products on the market. I didn't know how to do it at the time, but I said, you know what? I had a good career in bodybuilding. I started a supplement company with really nothing, no money, but just a dream, and basically, started my line with some basic protein powders and some supplements, and started selling them, out of a van, going from door to door to different gyms that I would train out in the tri-state area in New Jersey, and slowly grew my business. I attended local bodybuilding shows, and it's funny, when I started my supplement company, again, I was told, you're never going to be able to beat these big companies in the supplement industry because, first of all, you don't have enough money. Second, you don't have the resources, of knowing what, products to make and manufacturing. How are you going to do all this? And I just gave myself I always said to myself, if they could do it, so can I. So I didn't know what I was doing, but my path was to have the best supplement company in the world. And I believe that if I can make quality products that worked, that what happened is people would use those products, and by word of mouth, the products would start to sell. And my motto is always, the most important sale is the second sale. So if you get someone to use that product and they like that product, they're going to continue buying that product. They're going to tell their friends, and it's going to grow the business. So I was never always after that quick buck. It was always about quality, and that's what I wanted to do with Gaspari.
You were thinking longevity.
Forward. What's that?
You were thinking longevity.
Yeah, I always thought about longevity, and like I said, what was really important to me is making quality. Along the way, people saw my positive drive and determination and wanted to work with me. So I got some of the best formulators that were like, I want to stand behind you, Rich. I got some formulas. Sell them under the Gaspari umbrella. And that's how it kind of started. I started getting guys giving me really great formulas. I would look at it, and, when some of these formulators would tell me, this is what I have, and some of the bigger companies don't want to buy this because it's going to cost too much, and they feel they're not going to make a margin on the product and make profit. I would say, listen, what would it take to make this product better? What were the ingredients we need to make this better? And they would tell me this, we need this, we need that. I'd say, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make the best product in the industry. We're going to try to make money, but we're going to make the best product. And that's what I've done. My drive was to make the best products in the industry. And I've been able to prove that as the company has grown, and now we've become one of the top vendors in the sports nutrition. A bodybuilder, there's been bodybuilders that have had supplement companies, but to be awarded one of the best companies, last year we got awarded Vendor of the Year with GNC, which is the biggest chain of stores in the industry. Bodybuilding.com gave us Breakout Brand of the Year this year at the Mr. Olympia because we strive in consistently making the best product. I'm always looking at my competition, just like I did in bodybuilding, looking at my competition, and I never underestimate my competition. I say, okay, this is what they're doing. We have to do it better, whether it's in marketing, in how we do our marketing and ads, going to our site, Gaspari Nutrition. You can go to Gaspari TV, watch our videos. Everything it's a lifestyle that I've instilled in myself and want to give it to others with proper nutrition, proper training, and the best supplements in the industry.
Well, I think, if I could give you an award, if I had the ability, I would give you the award of most inspirational businessman, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm glad that we spoke about this, because you going from nothing, laying in bed, coming up with an idea, hustling out of your van, not giving up, and doing everything that you've done is amazing to me. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Because that right there just shows that if you put your mind to something, you can get anything done. Too many people quit too easily. And I even have to go back and give kudos to your father, because he instilled this in you when you were young.
My father came to this country with a fourth grade education, and was a mason contractor who worked very hard, and he provided us with a great home. He built houses with a guy that had no education, built houses and had rental properties, and I saw this, and my father always told me, I came to this country for you. And because I came to this country, like I said, America is the best country in the world. It's the greatest country for it. We call it the land of opportunity. And my father came here as an immigrant and said, here I'm coming here for you to be the best that you can be. And that's what I always see. My father passed away in 1999, but I always, and I just started my company in 1999, the supplement company. But I want to show, I always say I want to show him that Gaspari name will be there forever, and that's why I continue to try to build this company. And like I say, we've built it international. And I always find a way of figuring out what we need, what you need to do. And if I have to do it, I hire someone that tells me how to do it, and works for me. But that's what you do, and you find ways. But never take no for an answer. Always go forward. You talk about, having a business and starting from nothing. I started this business, like I said, out of a van. At one point, I sold my house, moved back to my parents' house, starting this company. I had their garage and their basement as my warehouse and as my office, and then their house burned down. I lost everything.
Wow!
But there, in the rubble of like my bottles, all with soot on them, and I said, "Oh my God, I have to start all over again." But I did it. I started all over again, and started again with the supplement company, and continually going forward to build this company and this dream that I wanted to build.
Rich, I got to say, look, When you got hurt, you could have quit. You could have said, okay, I'm retired. Let me go get a regular job. You went. You started supplement company. You started doing it out of the back of your van. That situation happening and you losing everything at that moment, you could have just said, okay, I quit. You didn't do that. Okay, and if anyone, the people, our listeners that are listening to this, Great Rich Gaspari on this show, this is just an example. If you want something, you go get it. No excuses. No excuses, because your excuses are your own. You did it, and anyone can do it. And that's the reality. And that's something that your father taught you, and you are, you're living proof of this being a reality and not just being a pipe dream.
No, it's like I said. I believe in this country and believing that you could push yourself to do anything you want to do if you push yourself to do it, and don't take no for an answer. There's always limitations in what you can do, but you can always make yourself better. You can never sit there and sulk and say, hey, I give up. You can't give up. And like I said, I always believe in looking at the glass half full, not half empty. And you can do whatever you want. My biggest inspirations were, of course, my father, but I've seen guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who came from Europe, from Austria, becoming a professional bodybuilder, from there becoming, the best actor in the world, and from there becoming governor of, California. These are things that he said that he would do, and he did them. I looked at that, and I said, if I could do just a little bit of what he's doing, I could be successful. And, my destiny was to be, an entrepreneur businessman coming up with the best products in the industry. And I feel that that's my contribution with the supplement industry. I mean, Gaspari Nutrition is doing continually more and more in spreading fitness through what we do with, things like Dragon's Den. We go to different gyms and facilities, and we're actually going to be doing them in military bases to spread health and fitness. And we go there with my group of athletes and myself, give them a motivational sermon, talk about some of my life experiences, and then show them how to, train properly, eat properly. And of course, it's something to help my company, but it's something that I feel that I'm spreading the whole, the whole fitness message. Yeah. That, this is what got me where I'm at, and fitness is what got me where I am today, and having a positive outlook in life.
Well, something, I think you're doing amazing things. I mean, again, building a company from nothing, making it an international sensation, still growing. You're not resting on your laurels. You're still going out there hustling to make things happen. And I think that your company could be $1 billion company, and you still won't stop.
No, I never.
Yeah, that's good.
That's one thing about me, and my wife said you never give up, and you just keep striving forward, because I just feel that there is no limitations. As a bodybuilder, there are physical limitations, but in business, there is no limitations. You can strive forward, and I'm not going to say I can be a billionaire, but I can just keep trying, to do it. And I have a multi-million-dollar company, and as you said, I can say that I'm satisfied with what I'm doing, but I feel there's a lot more to do. Recently, one of the icons, Joe Weider, for Gaspari TV, I interviewed Joe Weider, and Joe Weider is an amazing person. He's the one basically who started bodybuilding,
Without a doubt.
I interviewed him on some of the questions, and this guy is also was a motivational factor in my life. This is a guy who came from nothing and started the whole bodybuilding industry, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. But when I questioned him, I'm like, was there any obstacles that you had? And he says, there is no obstacles. And that's what I believe. There is no obstacles. You just have to strive forward.
I love it. I love hearing that, because there are only bumps in the road as you're going forward. That's it. You just keep going. That's fantastic. And I'm glad you brought up the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, because a lot of people, they look at him and they see where he's at now. They don't see his journey. They don't see a guy sleeping in the back of the gym because Joe Weider gave him a little bed to sleep in. They don't see the guy that hustled and started making things happen. They don't see the guy that had an opportunity because Lucille Ball gave him an opportunity and he became a big star. They see what they see now. Same with you. They see this. Not too many people really adhere to the journey. That's why I'm happy that we had you on here to talk about this journey, because now you're inspiring me. You're psyching me up, and I have to finish this interview, though.
Well, I'm glad that I'm able to inspire others, and you know, it's great to, you know, it's funny. I love, I'm very, like I said, I'm very motivated, and any time that I can help someone and inspire them to do something, I feel like it's just something that helps me. You know, right now we work with athletes, and some of the athletes are top, you know, competitors. Mark LBC, who just won the USA's, who lives there in Florida. Flex Lewis, who's from Wales, came to the United States, and his journey was to be the best bodybuilder, and we're helping him. Hidi Yamaguchi is a current bodybuilder from Japan that came to the U.S., who's a top professional, and I'm helping guys like him with the same journey, you know, of this dream of being the best in the world. And if I can help them, you know, from what I've learned in bodybuilding, not only from the training aspect, but of anything, you know, these guys come to me and asking questions about, you know, business and what to do. And I try to help them because I feel it just feels good to help others.
Well, you're paying it forward. You got something which was a gift, even though you hustled for it. And you said, Joe Weider, I think he is an amazing man. Amazing. He is the father, the grandfather, the godfather of bodybuilding, no doubt about it. And you're paying it forward because of what was done for you. You're spreading your knowledge with your supplements, everything. You're basically getting it out there for the up-and-comers to actually benefit from what you know. And
that's what I try to do.
Yeah, but I think I know that you are doing that. Now, I'm just going to, what I am going to ask you is with Gaspari Nutrition. I know we had Marcia Prince on the show, and she was talking so highly of you, my God. But she's your spokesmodel. But we touched briefly on some of your supplements, so maybe you can let us know what your most popular supplements are, so that our listeners can find out a little more about that.
Well, some of the more popular supplements we have is the Super Pump 250. That's our pre-workout product you take 20 to 30 minutes before training. Definitely helps you for mental focus, energy. There's ingredients in there that are going to help for recuperation, repair, and for better blood flow. Sizon is another product. We call it the intra workout product. You take it during your training, and what there is in there, there's actually creatine and actually a proprietary complex carbohydrate blend that actually gives you energy right when you use the product into the middle of your workout, and then way after it. It also helps in increasing glycogen in the muscle. Glycogen is the sugar that's in the muscle that helps, you know, rebuild muscle tissue. It's the nutrients or sugar or the carbohydrate that's in your muscle itself. Our proteins, Myofusion and IntraPro. Myofusion is our newest protein that's just doing unbelievable. It tastes great, high quality, and I made it at a very affordable price.
That's good.
Cycling D2 and mitotropin. What we've done is actually bodybuilding is known for cycling products. What we've done is we come up with two different fat burners that burn fat through alternate pathways. You have mitotropin that you do for 30 days, and then for mitotropin you go directly onto cycling if you need to continue losing body fat. What happens with most fat burners, that you continually using them, your body starts acclimating and getting used to using them, and they stop working. So that's why it's best to cycle their products, and that's why we have those two products that work through alternate pathways in burning fat. PlasmaJet, our NO2 product, you take about an hour and a half before you train, helps increase blood flow, better pumps, but also increases more endurance and helps you train harder and more explosively. Those are just some of the products that we have through Gaspari Nutrition.
Let me tell you something about this PlasmaJet. I was in GNC. I'm going to tell you a funny story. And I was going to get some vitamins. And I said, okay, let me get, I needed something. And I saw that on the counter. And it was just a little sample thing, 5 pills or something. I didn't know what it was. I said PlasmaJet. I said, all right, let me check it out. It's a little brown thing. I said, took it home. I was going to go to the gym. They says take it an hour before. I take it, and I didn't even think about it. I went to the gym. All of a sudden, I was like blown up. I said, "What is going on?" And then I read the thing up. I read it, and it said, don't take it more than 2 days in a row. I said, oh my God, what's going to happen? I'm going to go to like the 400 pound.
That's how powerful that product is. Yes.
But it was good stuff. That's what I'm saying. And again, just so our listeners know, I'm not getting paid for this endorsement. I just think the product worked when I used it, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know that you made it until I was talking to Marcia Prince, and she said, yeah, Plasmajet. I said, yeah, okay. I didn't even know that was Gaspari Nutrition.
Yeah, it's like I said, I take pride in the products that I develop, and of course, I'm an entrepreneur, into making money. But what's more important to me is making the quality products that people try, and once they use them, they rave about those products. And me, those products are like my kids. They're like my babies. And talking about, also what's very important is having a balanced life. I have a lovely wife. I have 2 kids, and it's very important that I work very hard, but it's also important to have that balance in life as well.
I think that just shows the type of person you are, because it's not just all about business, it's not just all about bodybuilding. You want that balance, and that's a good message to send out to people that are listening to the show, that even though you're intense in business, you're intense in bodybuilding, you're intense in your personal life.
Oh, everything. I mean, I'm going to be, I'm very excited about this, the Ultimate Body, that I'm going to be on this reality show. I think it's, they asked me to be a judge, and I think that's going to be a really cool thing. And I met with David Lyons, and I think that guy's also he's an inspirational man. I'm excited working with him with Lyons Entertainment. I hope this show goes very far, because I think it's a great concept.
I think that the Ultimate Body, and I've been speaking about it for weeks on the UCW radio show, because we're doing the Ultimate Body radio, and we wouldn't be attached to it if we didn't think that there was longevity. I think David Lyons, as you said, is an inspirational guy. He had MS, competed in his first bodybuilding competition. People were crying because of his story and how he got there, and I think that's amazing. But again, it goes back to Joe Weider creating the bodybuilding here, actually worldwide, but just creating that bodybuilding in general and making it what it is today, because it allowed people to actually strive for something, if that's what they want.
Well, I always tell it that when I saw Joe Weider, and I said, Joe Weider says, I started the industry, and I go, and I thank God, because he started the supplement industry, he started the bodybuilding industry, he started the equipment industry,
the magazines,
yep. All this stuff was from Joe Weider, and it's an amazing thing that he did. As you said, if it wasn't for Joe Weider, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Arnold wouldn't be here where he's at, and guys like David Lyons, who's striving with MS to overcome MS and competing in shows. That to me is that's why I got an interest in learning about him and saying, I want to be part of this. And he told me about this show and this concept, and I said, let's do this thing and let's make this thing a success. I'm not sure is that I am a judge for the show, but as a judge, also Gaspari Nutrition is a sponsor of the show.
Right. And
then one of the things that in believing in David Lyons is I'm giving a $50,000 prize to the winner of the show.
That I do know, and that's something our listeners should listen to. And the reason that I say this is because of how you are, and knowing more during this show how you are, that you would not, no doubt about it, you would not attach yourself to something that even remotely could fail. So
it's not going to fail.
It's not going to fail. No, this is not going to be. Honestly, and I was talking about this the other day. That the Ultimate Body, and I said this about the show, the reality show, that this thing has longevity, stamped around it. This show is going to be as big, if not maybe slightly bigger than The Biggest Loser, and that I do know because of the premise of the show. And it's time. It's time that bodybuilding actually went more mainstream than it has been over the years, and through this vehicle, it's bringing it to mainstream America, actually mainstream throughout the world, because now it's going to be all over the place, where your average Joe is looking at it and saying, "Oh my God, look at that!" But now they understand the journey, because most times people don't see the journey. Even like with you, people don't see your journey. They see what you're doing now. Like, oh, Rich Gaspari, big nutritional supplement guy. No, this wasn't just handed to you. You fought for it. And
that's why I hope to give people motivation that you can do whatever you want in life, and as long as you believe in that, you can get anything you want, and you don't have to sit back and have people help you. You have to help yourself. If you help yourself, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that positive attitude, I'm happy that it has propelled you to where you are. But I know you're going farther. I know you're going to go beyond even my imagination, because you don't even know where you're going to end up. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot higher than we are right now.
I have a lot of ideas and what we want to do, and we're working on new projects. For Rich Gaspari, and more than just Gaspari Nutrition, but I see a lot of opportunities, and I want to go for it. And as even Joe Weider, who really motivated me, I did this interview with him, and he says, "You're successful now, Rich, but I see you going so much more than what you're going to do." And he goes, "You've just begun." And it's in that, from a guy who basically has dealt with bodybuilders from the 1930s right into the present, has said that you're one of the few that I can see going even further, has motivated me again to keep striving forward.
Oh man, to get those words from his mouth to your ears, woof. Put your head down. Like, all right.
I'm not gonna let you down, Joe. For me, Joe is like another father to me, and a great inspiration, as I've said. And like I said, I'm not satisfied on my laurels. I have so much more to do, and I get positive influence from people like Jack LaLanne, who's 95 years old. You see this guy, and he keeps pushing himself, and that's amazing. So I said, why can't I do that? So you keep going.
I mean, because he's a lot. He's like 55 years older than I am, and he's doing a lot more physically. And I look at it and things like that. I'm like, man. I said, this is like crazy.
Trains every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, every day, 2 hours a day,
God
every day. 95 years old, and that's a great inspiration for anyone who thinks that they can't, do anything. And the guy doesn't look at his age as something to, okay, time for me to give up. Keeps going.
And it goes back to what you said about Joe Weider. There are no hurdles. There are no walls. There's nothing in front of you. And most people, I think that they get stuck at that brick, and they can't see beyond the brick, and that's what causes their failure, because it's too easy to give up. It's too easy, and it just amazes me. And as you said, in this country, you have the ability to be anything you want to be, strive for anything you want to strive for, and reach and make it happen. But I think I think some people are just lazy, when it comes to certain things, and that's not insulting anyone. That's just reality, because if you wanted it that bad, you make it happen. If you wanted it that bad. Now, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I said, I just like I said, it's sad, and going back into not to say like the days of the past. Americans worked harder, and I hope that this ability to not depend on others, to get what you want and really strive to be better. I hope that gets instilled again in this country. You see problems of, the recession and people in unemployment lines and it's all bad. But I think if people just, back in the Great Depression, people looked at that and actually we overcame that and became a better country. I think we could do the same.
But you know what the problem is, Rich, with that is what transpired. We went, and see, in what you do, you're in the manufacturing business. We went from being a manufacturing country to being a servicing country, where everybody was manufacturing overseas. Okay, and then all of a sudden, there was a disconnect, and then the collapse happened because we were just doing financial services, things of that nature. So now, and you're right, now this should bring us back to basics and say, you know what, this is an entrepreneurship country. This is how we made it. This is how we built it. Forget about the problem. Let's go back to why this happened. Now move forward. So I think if we do that and more entrepreneurs like yourself pop up, that this country will be greater than it has ever been, and create more opportunities for people that want it. Because we had Alfred, and I'll just touch on this. We had Alfred Demora. He's owns Demora Motor Car. We had him on the show. Just like you, same attitude. This is a guy that invented the 50/50 antifreeze.
Wow.
Same attitude, came from nothing in Rochester, New York. Came here with nothing, worked hard, wanted to learn about engines, did that. He built his first car. Those big white cars with the big humps on the fenders, those fancy cars.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Clinet. That's him. He built that, and he has he's done so many things, from creating the supercomputer and everything. But this is a kid that came from nothing. So, with that said, this is about America, and America is a great country, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve, and you are a pure example of that. And I think that is fantastic.
We as I was saying earlier, we're into the recession. We've been able to grow over 85%. My company's growing. We're offering jobs. This is me giving back. As you said, what Americans have to look at is becoming more innovative. Why my company is successful is I look at innovation. Innovation is the number one to success, and we consistently look at improving and making better and being competitive. You're competitive like bodybuilding, competitive. You can do anything, and that's why I said I can take bodybuilding and put that to any aspect of life, and you'll be super successful.
But you have to want it, and that's what it comes down to, wanting it. And that's what you did. Now, let me ask you, Rich, what else do you have going on? I know you have Gaspari Nutrition. Do you have any new product launches that we haven't spoken about? Do you have any guest appearances going on for yourself?
Well, we are making new improvements. I talked about one of the products we have is Sizon. Sizon is a great product to take during training. But what I wanted to do was, again, innovation, make it better. So what we did is we've added a large array of amino acid, branched-chain amino acid, whey hydroxylase, taurine, and a bunch of other ingredients to make the product even better. Because I saw, we came up with a whole intra-workout category, and then other competitors started making products, and I started seeing companies trying to outdo me. And of course, what I had to do is then I said, okay, let's make even a better product. So we did that version of the intra-workout formula. We have one that's carbohydrate, and then we have carbohydrate-free for the competitor that doesn't want to use any carbohydrates. It has more amino acids in it that you can take during training. You're gonna get recovery, repair, increasing lean muscle mass. We're always striving to make better products than what we have. Appearances, I make appearances all over. Keeping up with my schedule, I travel, different places in the world constantly. I like going in front of groups, and like I said, I go in front of groups of store chains. I just came out of Canada. One big chain over there on Popeyes, and they have GNC there. But I've been in front of these guys, and those guys support my brand, and we've become one of the number one brands in Canada because I'm out there in front of those people. I go to the trenches. When I call it trenches, I go to the health food stores. I go into the gyms, and I look at what individuals are looking for.
Mm-hmm. So you're not above. See, that's what I love about what you're doing. You're not above doing that. You have no problem getting your hands dirty with your business.
Well, I read a lot of books on entrepreneurs and businesses. Sam Walden, Walmart. He's a guy who used to go to every one of his stores in his plane and go into the store level and see what they were doing in these stores. This guy was a billionaire, but he continually looked at what he can do to improve the Walmart stores that he had. And I feel the same way as, I'm the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and what I feel that I have to do is I have to get out there and see what the stores are doing, and, what managers are looking, the store owners are looking for, managers, and what, my consumers are looking for. And that's by getting out there and looking and not just sitting in my, my office.
But that's a good way of handling it. That's how you kind of forge your company. That's how you make the longevity happen, because you're not sitting there and you can easily sit in your office at your big desk and look at the computer and throw darts at the wall and just sit there if you wanted to. But that is not what this is about. You are reaching for greater things, and you don't want to have that disconnect between you and your distributors, or you and the consumer.
Exactly. I mean, I try to work with, it's funny, there's a lot of there's competitors between stores and everything, and I try to make everyone happy. I can't always make everyone happy, but I try my best in doing that. And like I said, having that connection with the store levels, consumers, I'm constantly out there traveling to do that. I think that's what also makes success.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Now, Rich, can you do me a favor? Can you tell our listeners how, your websites, how they can find out more about Gaspari Nutrition, as well as finding out more about you?
Well, you can go to www.gasparinutrition.com. Go onto the site. You can see Gaspari TV. You can listen to me do, we have everything on there from the Dragon's Den to different body parts, off-season training, pre-contest training. You can also see a lot of the other athletes that we have and their story. So just go to GaspariNutrition.com, and that's where you can see, information on our products and also on myself.
And I should have mentioned this earlier, but the reason you call it Dragon's Den, because you are known as the Dragon Slayer. I forgot to mention that. I can't believe I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, well, I was back in the day. I was known as the Dragon Slayer because we had all these big, someone like Lee Haney was a much bigger bodybuilder, and I came into the picture beating a lot of guys that were much bigger than me. But I was known for being the most ripped, first bodybuilder to have striated glutes. So my conditioning would beat out a lot of bodybuilders that could have been, bigger, but I just came in better.
Well, let me tell you something, Rich, and I have to say this, and again, this is just my opinion, that when you competed, I remember when you competed and you went against Lee Haney. I know you're humble when it comes to certain things, but I think that you had him beat twice, no doubt about it. And I was shocked that you didn't.
I'm glad to have people say that, but I won't admit it to it. I'm great friends with Lee Haney, and I talk to Lee Haney, and I always say, Lee, you're a great bodybuilder, and I'm always happy to come second to you, and it was a great accomplishment for me.
Yeah, but the reality that I see, and again, it's not you saying it, it's me saying it, that you had him beat twice, and again, I guess things happen. It's not politics, but it's just things just happen, and you move forward. But hey, look at you now. You are achieving great things, and you're inspiring people, and I hope that the listeners that are listening to the show get inspired with your story, because it's awesome. It's awesome, and that's what we do. We bring inspirational people on the show, and now you got me all jacked up because now I'm inspired, and that's a big thing to do. So when I
come into town, we got to have a workout together.
Oh, you know what? I'll make sure I'm in California at that time, man. I don't know. I think you'll hurt me. No, we'll definitely get it. We'll definitely get it done and do that. I'll just make sure there's an ambulance nearby, or have my phone there so I can dial 911, because I know that's going to happen. All right, Rich, listen, I know you have a lot of things going on. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I've admired you from your competitive days, and now having you on the show, I admire you as a businessman. It's been an honor to have you as a guest on the UCW radio show, and I say that from the heart. And what I like, you're more than welcome. What I would like to do is have you back periodically to get periodic updates on what's going on with Gaspari Nutrition, and what's going on with the new product launches, so on and so forth, if that's okay with you.
Okay, no problem.
All right, excellent, Rich. All right, that was bodybuilding legend and founder of Gaspari Nutrition, Rich Gaspari. And that's it for this segment of the UCW radio show. This is your host, Lou Velazquez, and I will be back with another guest, another amazing guest, just like the great Rich Gaspari. Until then, you can follow Rich Gaspari, the growth of Gaspari Nutrition, on their website. That's www.gasparinutrition.com. Find out everything about it, support the brand, and support a great guy.
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Gaspari Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.